Hello guys, welcome back to Coding Cafe. My name is Mohammed Ali and in this video we will learn all about polymorphism in object-oriented programming. So first of all we will talk about what is polymorphism, and then we will talk about the types of polymorphism, and then later on we will do the implementation of the whole concept of polymorphism and its types in Visual Studio using C#. So first of all, what is polymorphism? So word polymorphism basically means the ability to appear in many forms. So basically there are two types of polymorphism: dynamic polymorphism and static polymorphism. Dynamic polymorphism is also called the method overriding, and static polymorphism is also called the method overloading. So first of all we will now talk about the dynamic polymorphism, or you can say about the method overriding, and then we will implement this dynamic polymorphism or method overriding whole concept in Visual Studio using C#. And then after that we will discuss static polymorphism or method overloading, and then we will implement this whole concept in Visual Studio using C#. And then we will also relate the difference, or you can say we will discuss about the difference between method overloading and method overriding, or you can say the difference between static polymorphism and dynamic polymorphism. So first of all, let's talk about what is dynamic polymorphism or method overriding. So in dynamic polymorphism, the response to a method is decided at runtime, and that is why it is also called dynamic binding. You will understand it more clearly when I will relate these points with the when we will implement it in Visual Studio using C#. So these are basically the important points about method overriding. So basically in method overriding we define multiple methods with the same names and same parameters, which basically means the re-implementation of parent class methods in child class. As I told you, we will relate all these points when we implement this in our in Visual Studio. Okay, then you will understand it more clearly. So the second point is method overriding can be performed only between parent-child classes. It means to do overriding implementation we must use or perform inheritance concept. So without inheritance, method overriding is not possible. Okay, we have to do inheritance. We have to follow the inheritance concept, okay, to do the method overriding. And then the last point is we override a method in child class, and for that it requires a permission from its parent class method. Now how a parent class will grant a permission to its child? So for that, the parent class, with the parent class method name we use this keyword virtual, and with the child class child class method name we write this override keyword. So let's see these things in Visual Studio, and we will then relate all these points with that when we do the implementation. So open Visual Studio and create new project, and Visual C# console app.net framework, and the name of this app will be method overriding. Click OK, and our new project method overriding is created successfully. As you know that this is our default class program and this is our main function. So now let's create here a class. So we can say class by the name university, and also let's create another class, since we have to perform the inheritance. We have to follow the inheritance concept. So we can say department. The second class will be department, and we will create two attributes for the university class, and it will be of double data type UID, which means university ID, and the second one will be of string data type, and it will be the U name, which means university name. Let's copy this and we will change it for the department. So it will be DID, which means department ID, and the second one will be department name. So the university class will have one method, which is the public void. Let's call it as show method. And here we can say console.writeLine university ID equals to, and this concatenation sign, and we can say UID. Sorry for that. And then we will display the university name here, so we can paste that here and we can say university name uname, and let's copy paste the same method there, control C, and paste that method here in department so that we can change the university ID to department ID and department name, and let's change this to DID and D name. Now first of all, let me tell you that by using the protected access specifier, we can access these attributes in a child class of this university class, and now we have to make this department class as a child class to the university, which is basically inheritance concept. So now department is become a child class of this university, and how we can access these attributes here, we will discuss it after some few minutes. Now according to these important points for the method overriding, we says that in method overriding we define multiple method with same names and same parameters. That is basically the re-implementation of parent class method in child class. So this is all about, okay, this is our parent class university, and here we have this method show, and the same method we have here in our child class department by the name show. And as you can see that this method has no parameters, so that's why this method should contain no parameters. If we pass some parameters here, then that same parameters we will pass here. So in this case, in this implementation example, we just implement the same method with same name but with no parameters. But if you want to add the parameters, then that parameter should be same, okay, according to the definition with the same names and same parameters. So here we do not use parameters, that's why we can't use parameters here. And this is the second point which we already performed. This can be performed only between parent child class, which basically means to follow the concept of inheritance. And this is the concept of inheritance, that is child now become the this department is now become a child of this parent class university. And the most important point is now how the child can take permission from its parent class. So to do that, what we do basically for that, we need to add this virtual keyword with the parent class method. So if we add here the virtual keyword, this is basically the parent class university, you can see that, and we can use this virtual keyword here. So basically now it means that this method is going to be override inside the child class department, okay. So according to here, we need to add this override keyword with the child class method, okay, which is this show method, and it is here, okay. So to here we can simply write this override keyword. So this is basically all about the method overriding. Now what we're gonna do here, we are going to create a object of the child class department. So we can say department, and let's give it a name dp, which is the object, and then you can say new department. Make sure to put a semicolon here, and then we can say dp dot show. Now here comes the important thing, okay. First of all, we have to pass some values to these virtual method and this override method, I mean to both of these. So how we can do that? So we know that department is a child class of university, so we can create here a constructor inside the child class. So for doing that, we can say public department, and this constructor must receive the first parameter, and it will be the university ID input, comma, double university name input comma. And now here I will tell you that how, by using the protected access specifier inside this university class, how we can access the attributes of parent class now in the child class. So let's give it the third parameter, which is the department ID. So here we can say did input, put a comma here, and sorry, the university name input is of string data type, okay, and the department name will also be did name input, okay. And now inside this constructor we can say did equals to did input, dname equals to dname input. And now to access the attributes of a parent class, all we're gonna need is, here we can simply write base, which means that inside the parent class we have the attribute UI, and you can see UID. And if I show you, then basically when you write dot and then U, then you can see in front of this that is double university ID, which means that UID belongs to university class and which is the parent class. So you can say UID equals to UID input base.uname equals to uname input. And now we have to pass value to this constructor, okay, which is the child class constructor. So how to do that? Here we can say we have first the university ID. So let's say the university ID is 438 comma, and let's say the university name as it is the string data type. So here we can pass a name to it. So let's say the name of the university is Stanford comma, and let's say the department ID is 55 comma, because it will accept 4 parameters, okay, you can see that. And the 4th parameter is the department name of input, okay. So the department name, let's say, will be, it is string data type, so you can say computer science. So yeah, and then we call the dp.show method. So now here comes the important point. We have a method inside a parent class, and also we have the same method inside the child class. So which method will basically execute, okay. So one of them will execute, and now let's see which one will execute. So basically the child method, which is this one will execute, okay, as we have created the object of the child class. So first let's run it, and then we will talk about it later, that how we can access both of these methods. So press Ctrl F5, and here we go. You can see that department ID and department name computer science, but it do not execute the parent class method. I mean it basically run this method, but it is not called. So how we can display the parent class method show? I mean how we can display the university ID and university name now? So for that, all we're gonna need is that inside our child class department, here we have this show method, and here we can say base, sorry for that, dot show. So it will basically call the parent class method show. And now if I press Ctrl F5, then you can see that university ID 438, university name Stanford, department ID and department name computer science. So we have successfully learned that is what is polymorphism and what is dynamic polymorphism, or you can say method overriding. For method overriding, it is important that we must follow the inheritance concept, because without the inheritance concept we cannot perform method overriding. And the inheritance concept is basically the child and parent relationship. And as you know that in method overriding, we define the same method with the same name and same parameters inside, we first define it in the parent class, and then we define the same method with the same name and same parameter inside a child class. Now for the child class to execute this show method, it must grant permission from its parent class. So to get the permission, we must use the virtual keyword with the method in the parent class and the override keyword with the method in child class. And if we run it, then we get the output successfully. So yeah, that's it for this video, and in the next video we will talk about the static polymorphism, or you can say the method overloading, and we will also do the implementation of method overloading in the next video tutorial. See you guys in the next video. Bye for now.